Well, you'll be lucky. Just make sure you say goodbye to your friends, say bye to your audience. He might be his last year, Jackson. Thank you for being so nice to your fans out in Vice. And I want to apologize before he says goodbye. It's not my fault. I tried to stop him. He signed off. And hopefully, if he has a family, kiss his wife goodbye. And
What's up? You're back with Vice Culture Club. I'm your host, Jackson Garrett. I'm your guide to what's going on at Vice and hopefully what's going on in the world. We've got some really cool pieces on Vice this week. Check it out. We have one about Carnival, around Fat Tuesday, also known as Mardi Gras in America, but in Rio, they do it a little different. Check it out. That was a cool one. Another one I'm very excited about, Subway Mania. There's a group of New Yorkers that go around wrestling WWE style on the subway trains as it goes through the city, and yours truly shot that one. It was there. It was a wild experience. Really charming story of friends and family getting together to do this, and charming experience of the wrestling community coming together. It seems really cool. It'll be, as of now, it's like the last episode of The Gathering, so check it out if you haven't checked out the rest of Gatherings. We have a fun show today. Probably the biggest people I've ever met in my life are on the set. We've got one legendary guy here named Konishiki. He, at the time of his reign as sumo champion, was the heaviest weighing sumo champion at the time, 633 pounds. He was the first foreign sumo champion as well. He's from Hawaii originally. You'll have to check out his videos. Like, he was really moving people around, and he's brought a couple of his students with him as well. We've got Osaka Joe and Ruru on the set. Guys, thanks for coming.
thanks for having us. Good job.
So you're going around America kind of showing people about sumo. What kind of reaction are you getting?
Well, it started in 2019 when I teamed up with my partner, Sam and Kathy from Seattle. And it's actually called Sumo and Sushi. And 2019 was the first time I took it. We worked together. We did Seattle, LA, and actually ended up in New York. So basically, it's like a masterclass of sumo, because people kind of know about it, but they don't really know about it. Sumo is ancient. It's just 1,005 years ago. So I knew they kind of knew about it, but they just thought it was two big ass fat boys in diapers and stuff. I was just amazed that there was interest in sumo. So up to that point, thanking the internet for it, it slowly got out there with the present sumo that we see now. You see a lot of people doing it on their podcasts, or some of them even doing YouTube channels on it and stuff. So it's worldwide, but it's scratching the surface. So what we're doing, we're traveling a lot here in the U.S. We've done over 100 and something shows already here in the U.S. already. So New York is our next stop.
You guys, there's a fascination with sumo. Part of the reason I want to have you guys on, there's like a mystery to America. It's very Japanese specific. You don't see this in America every day. You're some of the largest humans on Earth. It's extremely impressive. I mean, we were scared for the couch there for a second with your guys. I was told I had to pay for the couch if it breaks, But you're also these athletic fighters. Like, what kind of misconceptions are you getting from America about this fighting sport? And do you think America's ready for it?
Like I said, for what you just said, everybody thinks sumo is big. Sumo is the only full contact sport in the world, martial arts, that doesn't have a weight class. Then you have to sit and think, why is that? Because we have to learn every single skill in the martial arts in Japan. They call it Budo. And you got to see, when you go way back, they were like the modern day samurais, what you're looking at. They might be big, but they are so flexible and agile, and not every big boy can make it. I guarantee you, majority of the big boys can't make it. Some of our grand champions are small. So that's the stereotype I've been dealing with. I've been actually fighting against the current, but slowly but surely people are picking up. Now they're actually flying all the way to Japan to watch the major tournaments. And there's only 60 top guys in every year who can find those slots. What's the difference is your athlete is professional. You can write a contract and you get paid even when you get hurt. Sumo, if you're not in that 60 bracket, you don't get paid at all. If you're on the bottom of the 60 bracket, you might get paid 15 grand, 20 grand a month. But once you lose that mind by having a losing record of 15 matches, you go right back down to $500-$600. So the crucial thing about it is very traditional. Everything is traditional. From the hairdo we wear, the clothing we wear, the laws that we have to abide with is different from our language is different in Japanese. And every family that sends their kids to sumo, knowing the commitment they have to send their kids is they're not going to see their kids. 10 o'clock lights off, 6 o'clock in the morning, you're up every morning, every single morning. And there's no actually, once you get committed, your whole life is sumo. You're not allowed to do something outside to make money. You have to do everything in sumo. So rules and regulations of your life, you just committed your whole life to sumo. So, and that's the biggest difference. And I see people doing these shows. I know we've kind of educated a lot of people with the show. And one of the biggest comments we get is they're so surprised with how big they are, but the respect they have on the ring, which is the most important thing we teach in all the budos, meaning all the martial arts. If you watch baseball, you watch Otani and all these guys, Suzuki, well, the first thing you do in any sport, it's bow before they get on there. And they bow. They turn around and bow back to the baseball field when they leave. That's how much respect every sport is treated in Japan. So sumo is the pinnacle of that. We're like people who get invited by the emperor now. Not Otani, not celebrities, but sumo wrestlers. Because of that, the respect that they know the hardship that we have to go through, even to become a sumo wrestler. And above that, being out of my time, we had 850 guys. Out of the 150 guys, only 60 guys are getting paid. And you cannot keep your paycheck. You have to fight to stay there. So the stereotype, people are getting very educated about, which is good. Because the thing is, it's about the culture of sumo, the rituals that we have to live with. Anybody can be good. If you give me time to train you, I guarantee you I can make you a good sumo wrestler, even with your weight. Because some of the hardest opponents are smallest guys. Yeah, people don't know that because for a big size like me, Lulu, we all kind of same type. We have to use our body weight and our strength to win. And we only have like 4 or 5 techniques that we can really use. All the rest, 80 other techniques, somebody like you would have it all, which is scary. And again, the ring is round now. You got to remember. The reason why they have that is, the wording, right?
What was that?
The wording when something's round, they tell just run circles around the guy. So you get to do that. I'm not the guy who'll be running. I'm trying to catch you. So it's 2 different animals at the same time at different weights and different speeds, different heights.
What's the moves if I was to be in the ring or a skinny, muscular guy? What is the moves to fight someone that's so much larger?
Well, the thing you got to remember, once you get under me, no matter if I'm 600 or 700 pounds, is a tree stands up, it's easy to go down. So everything, it's like science. You have to know how to battle the weight. The thing they teach somebody young, all the sumo wrestlers are body weights and body structure are different. Long legs, long hands, short legs, short hands. That coaches, or what we call oyakatas, would actually tailor-make every person to a certain style of sumo. Mm-hmm. So somebody like you probably give can you swear on this? Or
swear it up.
Well, freaking thing about sumo is somebody like you gives a lot of trouble to me because you have so much ways to trick me. And the reason why it's a rope, the best place to get your big guys is to the rope, because that's where all your tricks start working. My fingers are broken from not a big guy, from a small guy.
Yeah,
because the belt you see, what we call mawashi, they can trap your hand and they can break your fingers in 3 seconds.
Oh, wow.
They trap it and they just twist it. So stuff like that people don't see. It's aikido, jiu-jitsu, judo, karate all at one time. I can actually slam, karate chop your nose. If you get hit right,
what's allowed and what isn't allowed? I know, like punching's not allowed, right?
Punching's not allowed. You're not allowed to grab the hair. But anything up, you can slap the shit out of your opponent.
You can really slam right to somebody's face.
It's like a hook. It's like a boxing. When you punch, it's like that, but it's just your hook now. It's just open hand. But not only that, you can come down with a chop right to your face, which if you hit the right place in your nose, sayonara, good grave, brother.
Yeah.
There's a lot of techniques. It's so excited because all the small guys make it so excited because they throw the shit out of us big freaking guys, And the thing is you have to be, they're very tricky and they take advantage of the rope. I call it tawara. It's actually like a trigger. It's like, when you have a truck on the hill, you put a little rock on the bottom on the back tire, it won't move, right? Yeah. Same thing. No matter how big I am, if my small opponent is at the edge and have his feet there, there's no freaking way I can push him out. But he actually is looking for your weight now. Which side you're leaning? He can feel your left or your right pushing. That's what offensive and defensive linemen do in football. They can feel your weight. Once they feel your weight coming, boom, they bang. They pull you down, or they slap you down, or you kick you. So that's where all these small guys are tricky. If you watch a major tournament, you got guys flying, flipping, because it's all about the technique. You know, for me, my technique was only try to use my hand because I wasn't skilled enough. I wasn't brought up in sumo. These guys do sumo since they're 3 years old. It's like, basically, it's like Little League baseball. People start as a kid, and that's as part of Japanese culture. The kids, they actually do that at a very, very young age. But as they go up, once it gets to junior high school, the competition gets different. The boys get bigger, they get more skillful. And then by the time they get to pros, not too many get chased to pro because professional, it's not the sport anymore, it's the culture.
Yeah.
You have to live the life of a sumo wrestler.
That was like one of the most fascinating things. You know, I didn't know that much about sumo before I researched. I think most people that are watching are probably like, they've just seen the videos or in a cartoon or something. They don't understand it. When I started watching, you know, I was like, why is this not bigger abroad? Why is it so specifically Japanese? And it seems like one of the biggest things is because of the lifestyle. There's so much lifestyle to it. You live together. They call them stables. Like, walk us through what the lifestyle looks like.
The cooking itself is all by ourselves. You know, and I always joke about us being sumo wrestlers. You know, in these days, all the women in the world, they want to have careers. Good, just marry a sumo wrestler. They can cook, they can clean, they can do everything. And the only thing we cannot do is give birth to a baby. I don't know about that in America, but I'm pretty sure a man can help get a baby. But they're very skillful because they have to do that in the stables. In the stables, they get up in the morning, they train, they do their own cooking, their own cleaning, and they become great people that do service because they have to learn everything. They got to be on time. No such thing as being late in sumo, and everything is by rank. Mm-hmm. There's 6 levels of sumo, and the 4 bottom is like apprentices. They have to be apprentices under the top 60. So, as a high ranker, I have during my career, I had 6 or 7 boys who are my apprentices. They do everything from cleaning my room, carrying my luggage. Wherever I go, they're like bodyguards. When I go out, we go out together. And wherever we go to eat, they're
like, these are your guys. Like, what level are they?
They're like protect you all the time, but not to a point where we can't touch anybody. You touch somebody in public, you're out of there. They don't care who you are. And that's the life of sumo. They do the cooking, do everything. And then, you know, because they have strict laws, rules in their sumo, at 10 o'clock, lights off. You're not even allowed to look at phones or nothing. Most of the time you see these kids, probably half of the day they're looking at the phone. They're not allowed. They're very strict. And then they have to actually always, when they go out in public, they're not allowed to dress like this when you're actually active. You actually got to wear what we call the yukata kimono jinbe, which is even to the public, when you're just going down to 7-Eleven, you have to dress. If you get caught, you get punished, sometimes to a point where you get kicked out. And just the lifestyle, I think being on the ring is the easiest stuff people can see. What they see, the action, the fighting and all that, that's easy. You know, people fight every day. Yeah. And the art of sumo can be learned, can be taught. But the life of a sumo wrestler never can be taught. I can tell you, majority of your NFL players, basketball players, you know what you see on the court where they fight or they're talking about to the coach? They don't care you're Michael Jordan, you get kicked out. No such thing as law. No such thing as a lawyer. It's right out. There no questions asked because the government actually don't get involved in it. And they actually, you do something, it's a disgrace to the country because sumo is the country.
There's like this really high level of like code of conduct that
the
people are held to.
The code is so high that it's dangerous.
And if you don't hold the highest person to that same code of conduct, it's useless all the way through, right? And
for all your hard work. And that's the thing that scared me most of the time because I can get kicked out right away for all the hard work. It comes to nothing. It's been proven the past 28 years I've been retired. How many grand champions they kicked out? They kicked out 3 or 4 of them. Like you're kicking out Tiger Woods now. You're kicking out LeBron James. You're kicking out Michael Jordan. The top of the top now. Do you have any sports that would do that in the U.S. or in the Western world? Well, no fucking way.
What did they get kicked out for?
Fighting against each other in public. 2 sumo wrestlers fighting against each other. Think about it.
And they kick them out of the league for that.
They kick them out of the whole damn thing. Wow. Your life ain't insane after you do that. You just disgrace the whole country.
feel like you could kill a man in America, as a
Well, I
great
see a lot
NFL
of things
player.
that goes on there. No guys that freaking beat up their wives and beat up their girlfriends and come back and still play the sport. You get wiped out.
It's like a joke in America, honestly, like the amount of people that get in trouble and like, you said domestic violence, all this insane stuff. And they're just like, they're back making millions of dollars the next year, but it doesn't sound the same way in sumo.
And that's the scary part about it. I think there's a lot that we can learn about, the Western world can learn around me. Yeah, because there's always somebody who can take your place. That's basically what I guess the mentality is in the culture. You're you're disposable at any time. There's always somebody who wants that position. Same thing with the world. It's just that it's a different thing. We don't brand ourselves. We cannot brand ourselves. We're not marketable about where we use us to go make more money as wrestlers because we're not a product to sell. So basically, we walk with culture. We walk with, a representation of who sumo is. So it's very, very crucial, and family knows that. That's why when they send their kids out to sumo, a lot of them really second think that, And the biggest thing about they become some of the best citizens. No matter, I can guarantee you 90% plus won't make it. Period. That's reality. There's only 60 positions, and not everybody can make it. Even guys, even maybe the top guys, maybe 60% make it, but I guarantee you those 60%, less than 5% last. So think about it.
Yeah.
And when you don't last, what that means, you don't have money. You go right back down. And there's no like pension where you lose so much, you get so much money for doing sumo. It's what it is.
From what the research I was doing, I was wondering, why is this not bigger, or why is it taking so long to kind of catch on in America when America loves combat sports so much? And the two things I kept running into was language barriers, situation. There's not very many like foreigners in the sport. And then two, the lifestyle. It seems like you were just talking about you can't sell sumo because there's too much tradition and too much culture. And you're over here kind of selling to America, or at least introducing Americans to the sport. Can it grow in America, or is America too commercialized for this kind of thing?
It's going to grow big. And that's the way I work with my partners, not to change things. Because if you take everything away from sumo, if you make it like all the other sports, what they do is not actually the actual match. It's before the match where they're like, I'm going to come and fucking kick your family's wife. They sell that shit. And when they do a dunk, what do? They celebrate. They sell that. They're branding that. You do a football touchdown, they do a dance nut. They're selling that. Mm-hmm. Sumo has to stay true to it. They're not even allowed to even cheer for the matches. This is the only thing I tell everybody, and they laugh about it because we're the only full contact sport. We get our ass kicked. We got to go to the edge, bow, thank them for kicking my ass, and go back out and work my ass to come back to try to beat him. If you can stay pure, this is what I noticed with all the crowds that we've been working with now. People are tired of the bullshit that comes before and after. Just do the sport. Sumo is not a sport, it's a culture. The rituals that we go through, the ceremonial Shinto parts that we go through, it's culturally. If you notice Hollywood, there's some movies that came out, the Japanese Shogun, the movie that Joyce and Momoa did, all in Hawaiian. People are looking for culture. And that's the hardest thing. I'm American. I live in America. The thing I think, I'm 62 now, and the thing I've seen through my eyes as growing up, I don't know if America has a culture.
Mm. Yeah, people might be seeking it out now, because we
But you think about it, like all the sports, when I grew up, all my heroes like Dick Butkus, Earl Campbell, these guys are crippled. They dedicate their life to sumo, and that's what sumo is. We do it till we die. You either die or you just don't do it at all, period. Committed.
You think, that's the scary part about bringing it to America a little bit, is America's almost got this like cancer of commercialization and capitalization.
If that's the case, I wouldn't do it. Be honest with you. It's already going on. They have some stuff they do in New York. It's terrible. They're representing they're taking it like a show, or like sumo. It's not a show. They don't understand how hard to even be a sumo wrestler. And they have guys half of their ass sticking out of fucking what we call mawashi belt, and it represents, and that's why I dedicate my life to this right now. People are seeing the legit part of what sumo is all about, and they're listening to me as I talk in lifestyles and stuff. So And so that's very important for me too. And that's why these tours are so important for me. And that's the only reason why I jump on it. If it was to go commercial, I wouldn't waste my time. I cannot be bullshitting while I'm being at 16 of my year, dedicate my life to 16, since 18. I can't do that. I won't sell my soul at all, brother, for nothing.
Now, a big reason you're such a great ambassador for the sport is a couple of different reasons. One, you're American, and then two, you're a foreign-born sumo that's made it all the way to the top. I mean, other than there's like one wrong, there was like that King Sumo that you didn't quite get there, but like you were also like the biggest sumo ever. You're still the second biggest sumo now. There's been one other guy before, but like, or at this point, but so you're unique, you're a champion, and you're American. How did you get into this as an American?
Well, after high school, I was actually planning to go to school and stuff, but just happened one of those days I cut it out of class. Somebody that was already familiar with Japan's sumo. He was an ex-person, what you call WWE today. He used to be a big time wrestler from Hawaii. He used to call it King Yaokia, King the Curtis Yaokia. He had his head all bust up. Those days he used to bleed for real. That's why. And I catch that era of guys wrestling all over the world that came to Japan. The new era now, they don't bleed as much as they used to bleed. And they used to cut their hair, because I used to watch them cut their hair in the locker room. They cut it up, and then when they go there, and then when you stop punching it start to bleed. So the guy Curtis the Buyoke is a legend in Hawaii, and he made many trips. And actually, the guy that makes wrestling so popular in Japan at the time was a guy named Riki Dozan, another ex-sumo. Sumo guys that went and walked away from sumo careers after their most of the guys stayed within the association, but they left. They all started wrestling, which is what you see wrestling today is started by some big names sumo guys. If you go look for Riki Dozan, the greatest wrestlers in Japan, in the U.S. fought with him too, and that era. So that's why I got found. He just saw me. So, hey, young man, you got big calves. You look like this grand champion. He said a name. You look like Kitanomi, which I didn't know what sumo was. Yeah. And I just said, in our culture in Hawaii, if somebody older than you talk, you have to go and sit and listen to him talk. So I couldn't even catch any waves because I had to sit there and all my friends catching waves. I'm the only guy sitting on the beach talking to him. You should be good, and I know you're number 79. You're number 79 on the Pac-5 team. I watch you play. I think you can do sumo. Okay, uncle, yeah. But I have no idea what sumo is, Had no knowledge about Japan at the same time too. So,
and they just went over there.
Well, it's free. I come from a big family. My Samoan family, 5 kids, 4 boys, 4 girls, and I was the youngest of the boys, and saw everybody go to college. We wasn't financially there, and all I saw is I told the guy, as long as it's free. And I needed to tell my parents until a week I left.
What did your parents think?
They're very against it. My parents are Samoans. They don't even speak English. And they came from Samoa, both of them, and when I told them, they were like surprised. They were like really shocked. Everybody was shocked. I just took it because it was free, and a week before I left, I just told Mom I'm going to Japan. What the hell is Japan? I have no idea where it is. What are you going to do? I'm going to sumo. What the hell is sumo? I don't know what sumo was. I haven't seen sumo, never. I had no knowledge of sumo. I just went. And I left Hawaii with a shoulder bag, my Bible, my picture album in the family, a slacks, a lower shirt, and shoes. When I went, I had a pareo. You know what a pareo is? It's those wraps, the girls wear when on the beach.
Oh, yeah.
Over there. Yeah. That's all I had. I wear a t-shirt that says Samoa, and I had slippers on. And I had a shoulder bag, no luggage. And not even a penny to my name when I left Hawaii in 1982 in June.
Shocking. You could say pre-internet days, pre-phone call even. Like you just...
No, even phone. I didn't even talk to my parents. I could only talk to my parents maybe once every 3 months, 4 months. That's if I was lucky. And they used to have these 10 yen coins that I used to go to this ramen shop. And I used to say, actually, old lady, I want to call my mom. Those days, 5 minutes used to cost like $100 to $20, $30, just for like 5 minutes. But I hardly talked to my parents by like my first year and stuff, so.
What was that first day like? What was it being plucked from Hawaii to Japan?
It was very foreign. Everything about it was foreign. Walking and seeing, whoa, shit. In my mind, because I used to watch, Bruce Lee was my favorite person to watch. And I thought, like any other dumb kid, I thought that was Chinese and Japanese, 2 different things. So Bruce Lee was my my image of Japan to find out that he's Chinese, Japanese. Then got to Tokyo and found my way to Tokyo. Nobody came to pick me up from Narita. I had to find my way all the way down to Tokyo, This big-ass Samoan kid lost in Narita. I have no idea. I just found a way to get there. I never had any money. I had people who was at their port. I was asking for money because I went with nothing. Guys who were in the same plane, they paid for my way to get out because in Japan, you used to pay 2,000 yen a port tax. So you had to buy a ticket to get out of the airport.
Oh, wow.
And then you had to pay for the bus, which I didn't know. I just walked on the bus. They kicked me out of the bus. They said, you need money. I said, oh. So I asked somebody from Hawaii who was on the plane, who was there. He got paid, he got there. And that's just my whole career. Everything else is just day by day. I just had to suck it in. And everything was a big surprise. Sumo wrestlers don't live in hotels. We live in temples on the road. We go all live in temples. Shit, you open the window, there's dead people in their funeral. It's all like a funeral, a cemetery. They're crazy, man. And then you have cemetery on one side. You have rice patches on one side. Like, back to the movies, man. Well, that's how my career started.
Were there any other foreigners there? Were you the only person that didn't speak
Japanese?
Japanese?
One. The first foreigner to ever break the ice for all us foreigner is what we call my senior. We call it senpai. His name is Takamiyama. Takamiyama is originally from Maui. Mm-hmm. So he's the first foreigner ever to break the ice. He was the first foreigner even won a major tournament in 1972. So he was there since 1961. He was there before I was born. So I went under the same stable that he went to. We belonged to a Takasago stable because it's Takasago. So he kind of opened up the door to me. And after me, we had guys coming from Brazil. We had guys coming from Argentina. Then we have a whole flock of Hawaiian guys that came. We had Akebono that became the first grand champion. We have Musashi Maru that came another. Before you had the Mongolians with the Hawaii guys breaking ice and we became the top of sumo and stuff. So,
what was it like being the biggest ever at the time?
Well, that's towards the end of my career. People talk about my weight, but that's just towards more. I was always big. I was actually I fought the best at probably 232 kilos, maybe about 550, 560. I was running then at that weight. I could even dunk a freaking tennis ball. So I wasn't just your big boy. They just calculate the last time I weighed in, but towards the end I busted my knee. I busted the lift shoulder, which I can't lift even today. I fought on this shoulder for 13 years through my whole career. So being big, it didn't matter. At a big weight, I traveled all over the world with that 600 pounds.
Yeah,
I did documentaries after my career in Jamaica, in Turkey, in Italy. You name it. I've been all over the world with just doing that at that big body, which is people realize not too many 600 pounds that you can take on. And I was walking. I did everything on my feet. So it's not your everyday fat boy. If you can compare the same 600, I can guarantee you can go find any 600, see if you can do that. Or even 500 in that case. These guys, we do 2 shows a day. They're on their feet an hour and a half, hour 40 minutes at the most. And there's only like less than an hour break before they go into the next show. If you can find me some 500-pounders who can do that, then...
Because that's the impressive part that everybody's so impressed by, I think, is the combination of size and athleticism.
Because they're trained to be big. You have to train to be big. Even every morning at the hotel, they train like at least an hour, warm up and stuff every day. They're trained to be big. Their body can handle. Their legs are strong. And that's the most important. The squats we do is everything to sumo. And it's something that I always advise people, if they can do it, it's good for their bodies. Everybody, even you, everybody, it's a good exercise. If you notice, like Ichiro, when he goes up to bat, he goes into squat position. Your hips plays a big part in sports. Yeah.
Is sumo wrestlers, are they the strongest athletes in the world?
Depending on what they play, because sumo is like any other sport. They're good at certain things. Like for instance, I've hosted some NFL players. I even hosted Stephen Curry, guys like Holloway at sumo. So their bodies are different. At this weight, they do squats. There's squats where they lift their leg. Majority of them couldn't do. So I call it just big boys. They're like ballerinas. They have balance. If you see it, then you can realize that not too many people can do that. Even the top athletes. Somebody like Stephen Curry and his boys that came and they did sumo. I took them to a stable and they tried to do all the exercise. The muscles that we use are different. All the fat you see, it covers all the core, which is the strongest part of their body. and their asses, the gluteus maximus, their legs are super strong. And the balance they get is the lower back strength. And that squat actually helps to do that. And you have to be, your back, your lower back is everything about sumo. They're not strong upper bodies, but their legs are good, and it's all about being positioned, the right position. Like karate, you have to like baseball, you have to be, you don't give them a hole, you give them a hole, they can strike you out. Everything about sumo, every little thing, your finger, your wrists, your elbows plays a big part in sumo. It's like I say, it's martial arts at its best. People just don't see that. They just see the weight. Yeah. But they don't realize to be in the top, you gotta have weight and some skills at the same time. So,
is there any athletes you've worked with or met before that you thought would turn into good sumo wrestlers?
A lot of them, if you're athletic, the only problem they're gonna have a hard time is they're not flexible. I know a lot of guys, all these guys can do in splits, everybody. And that's mandatory in sumo. Everybody got to do the splits. And the reason for that, because there's 6 major tournaments. We don't have a season off. No such thing in sumo. Once you join sumo, your whole life is the season. That's why when you get hurt, no such thing as injured list too. You either fight with the pain, fight with the injury, or your life is done. And that's why it's so hard, because still it's Stone Age. And I always think to myself, shit, imagine if they kind of, make, there's a lot of superstar guys who I think if they give them like a year off, do surgery, do rehab, and come back, they're the names of the sumo. But like I said, you're nothing. You're just another sumo wrestler. You're branded as the top, but that doesn't mean they're going to go out of the way to break the rules for you. So I always think that way, because I see that, happening. If you have a superstar, you want to keep them in, for the popularity of the sport or whatever it is, but not in sumo.
If, you got scouted on the beach in Hawaii,
yep.
If you were to scout around America, what sport would you try to scout, and like what athletes would you see on TV that you might say, hey, they might could do it?
Football is huge. Rugby is huge. Any budo, karate, and actually, if you go back, majority of the guys, probably 80% has no background in sumo. I don't have any background in sumo. Lulu, 2人とも sumo 最初からやってた？子供の頃。So he doesn't have his experience in sumo. He joined sumo as a professional with no experience. Lulu did it as a kid. So majority of the guys that I look as a gold in sumo, one guy named Chono Fuji, at 15 he joined sumo. If you look at him, he was skinnier than you. Mm-hmm. He was a volleyball player. And he was one of the best grand champions that I went against. And in my book, he's still the best.
So much of it's so interesting. I would think for like how much of it when you're scouting is looking for size versus looking for athleticism. And if you're getting somebody that is skinny that can play volleyball, how do they pack the pounds on needed to perform? Because there is a minimum, right? You need a certain amount of girth to do well.
At age 15, regularly in sumo, at age 15 is the regular age that we used to join. Now the kids, they don't even want to join at 15. They join after high school. 15, you have to be at least 173 centimeters tall and at least 83 kilos. 83 kilos heavy. But now this is where it's important. You take a full physical. If you have like diabetic or high blood pressure, they won't take you. So you got to now think, they are not only big, but they're healthy. We have two physicals a year where they check your body, your blood and everything. If you're not healthy, you cannot get big. So normally that's where it is now. To be big, you have to be very, very, very healthy inside too.
What's like the average weight?
I think right now, compared to, you don't have the big Hawaii boys anymore. Because when we was me, Musashi Maru, Akebone one time, a few Japanese guys. During my time again, Ono Kuni was big. Probably average, maybe 450 to 500 maybe.
Wow.
If you break it down, now if you go watch the major tournaments, a lot of small guys, in fact, there's a guys like only 170 centimeters, 73. And they're a freaking Mighty Mouse, man. Yeah, well, for you got to watch these guys. Small freaking guys, they go against the big guys like nothing. They punch in like they come hard, man.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but so it was like nonstop. It was nothing but Japanese people really playing, and then you came along, some Hawaiians, some Samoans, and now there's some Eastern Europeans. What do you think about these new foreigners coming in?
Well, right after our big wave came from Hawaii, and we had a lot of boys from Hawaii. We had a kid from St. Louis who just passed. His name is Sento, Henry He's actually from St. Louis. His mom
wow.
is Japanese. Dad is American. Rest in peace. He just passed when I left for Tokyo. But he's from American. Another boy who's from L.A. He's Samoan, but he was raised in L.A. His family is those kids they used to call the Booyah tribe. They're rap. If you look it up, they're the first Samoan rap group ever. That's their younger brother. So, and they had guys from Brazil or Argentina, and then Russia, Poland. A lot of mix right now. And they say coming in. The problem is they only take 2 foreigners per stable.
Oh wow.
Oh no, not only one. No.
There's like a limit to it.
Yeah, you can't have more than one.
You'd think you'd have a buddy system. Come on, have like another
They
friend.
used to. When I joined, that's when it started changing. When that I think you read about where they was going to make me grand champion, no grand champion with the points and stuff. That's why they changed the rules. Before that, it didn't matter. It was limited. It wasn't limited. Right after that, they changed the rule to only 2 foreigners per stable. Then they changed it because the Mongolian came in. You have 1, 2, 3, 4 Mongolians that made it grand champion, 5 in a row. And then one Japanese never made it for a long time. He made grand champion until the next one. So you had 4 grand champions. 1, 2, 3, yeah. And then you finally had a Japanese that's trying to get a Japanese to make grand champion for a long time. He finally made it. Didn't last very long. And then the most recent one is actually another Mongolian. And they finally got another Japanese kid who just made grand champion a year ago.
I heard there's a Ukrainian guy
He's badass. Keep your eyes open. His background is wrestling. And then we call him the style when we used to wrestle. Those guys used to wrestle that a lot. He used a lot of technique that you're excited to see. And there's a guy who wrestled with his head down, and I gave him Ura. He do flips. He flip guys. And every time he gets thrown, you're flipping out of the ring. And you got to think now, it's at least 2 feet off the ring. I mean, off the floor. And you got to imagine all these 400 or 500 pound guys are flying off. Nobody gets hurt flying off.
I recommend you guys at home to go watch a video after this of these guys. They're humongous guys flying out of the ring into the stands.
They don't get really hurt flying off the ring. It's actually the rope that you see, what we call the tawara. When you brace, there's something you brace too early, too late, and you busted your ankles. That's how I bust my knee. I tried to catch the guy. I had him up this way, and my weight wasn't on both feet. When I had all my weight on my left feet, he shook. He tried to get out of the hole, but he hopped in the air. This guy I was fighting a 6'7", 450, right? He was big. And he shake. I had him up in the air. And when he shake, my left hand wasn't there. My right feet was in the right place. And when he shake, my knee just bust in. That's what I heard. That's my biggest injury.
Is Sumo ready for a potential Ukrainian champion or anyone that's not like of Asian descent?
They have no choice. This kid is kicking some butt, they've dealt with Mongolians. They've dealt with Hungarian who almost made it. Yeah, but I think this kid. Well, let's see. It's when it gets to this point, people start figuring out your strong points and your weak points. It's not that he went through everything smooth, but he got to a point where he was the one that came out a winner, even after a 12-3 tournament, which is not regular sumo. When you regular sumo is like you got to win the tournament like 14-1 most of the time, or win the whole thing, or at least no more than 2 losses. So right now, it's kind of balanced out by strength. Right now, the top. So it's exciting to see how he goes to deal with the pressure next upcoming tournaments.
Can you break down? We've got the guys in their fits here. Can we break that down? And can we break down what a usual match looks like for the people that just don't know anything about sumo?
Well, sumo, usually there's always 2 guys, the East and the West. By rank, the guy on the East is always a higher rank than the guys on the right, by numbers, yeah? Mm-hmm. So it's just, they go to the rituals before they come and they face each other, and the bow is always important. And the match, the thing is, all you have to do is try to shove your opponent into the ring. Any place but the bottom of your feet touches the floor of the ring, you lose the match. Or even your hair, when you go into a throwing position, they have their long hair, chomonge. So when the hair sticks out and touches the ground, you lose the match too. So, and then shoving your opponent out of the ring. When you shove your opponent out, it's very simple if you think about it. It's shove him out, throw him down. And that's the difference about martial arts. Martial arts, you can go to the floor, but once you touch the floor, you lose. So that's how come everything is kind of split second. That initial hit is very important. And that's why you have to really stay balanced, because actually the ring is slippery. They have sand, and then you have people throwing salt, it makes it slippery. So you have to really have good feet and grip and balance all the time. So it's very simple. You either shove your opponent out of the ring or throw him into the ring and stuff.
All right. What about, can we see the uniforms here? Like, how does this work?
Well, this is what we call yukatas. This is what they actually they wear in public. And what they have under Tomashi, and this is actually the only equipment they have in sumo, is what you call the mawashis. And the reason for that, sumo, the reason why they're bare too is to respect their opponents. They're showing they're actually fighting with their bare bodies, bare hands. You know, that's why they bear around this called mawashis. And if you go as a top rankers in Japan, you're the only ones who wear silk, the 60 top in Japan in the rankings. Everybody else wear canvas and stuff. So this is what we call mawashi.
Are these guys allowed to wear silk? These guys are top guys?
We retired. We can do whatever we want.
All right. But like, there's
actually, ritual wise, they wouldn't be rained at.
No helmets, no gear. You think it's just the
well, that's what makes it so true. Everything is pure. You got to remember, sumo is built around nature. The ring itself is like a temple. That's what it symbolizes, a temple. And there's salt to purify the ring. Everything, even the straws, those rope is all made by hand. We're not allowed to build a sumo stable with machines. Everything natural. And then those straws, they weave it together and they pound the dirt that they dig out into that. And then,
how big are these guys? What size are they?
Well, they're over 400 pounds. He's like 6'2".
6'2".
420. He's a little bit shorter, like maybe 5'11", but way over 400.
Is it better to be tall or short? Or does it matter?
I would have a hard time with the shorter guys.
Yeah.
It's how you use it's what kind of technique you take in. But if you're short and you have great technique, you're one of there's a kid right now, if you watch, there's actually 2 or 3 of them are short. And everybody's getting a hard time, getting killed.
There's got to be like a leverage thing to that, right?
Well, it's about leverage. Once you get under, you really can do nothing. He's going to trip you. And the thing is, like a smaller opponent, your coach would actually cut your opponent in half. What that means is fight towards any side. Because what that does, you take 50% of his body weight and his strength away. If you cannot use your right hand, only use your left, of course you're going to be in not a good position, especially even if a smaller guy, 100% of a smaller guy's strength and technique will beat anybody on just one side of his body, right?
Yeah.
So it's all about, being very, really very smart about sumo and stuff. Then that's where the technique comes in.
Japan in my head, like I've been to Japan once before, everything's a little bit smaller in Japan, except for the sumo. Like if I buy a shirt in Japan, I've got to buy a shirt size larger for an American, it feels like. But you guys are so like the biggest people on earth. Like, what is it like navigating the world just as someone this large?
So we were just talking about that. We were in a car and Lulu and I, me too, and Osaka Joe. One thing we really enjoy on these tours, if we get to buy nice clothes here. So he went to Big and Tall yesterday. And these guys walking around in freaking weather, just slippers and shorts.
It's snowing. It's like 20 degrees outside.
He did that in D.C. too. He's like the brother. But you don't get sick. Finally went yesterday to buy some clothes. The jacket, nandake, I know. The car, like those jackets for us is like, for me too. After I retire, when I come to the U.S. for work, I just like, it's paradise, man.
So you got to come to America to get the
real
right
good
sumo
stuff.
style.
You got stuff over there, but it's like terrible. They don't care about big guys.
Like the
You
bathroom,
got all the ugly stuff.
the bathrooms, the planes. Like what's
America's
the
everything is big. In Japan, if we can live in Japan, we can live anywhere. The new places, bathroom is not a problem. Even a small bathroom. These guys are so flexible. Even at my biggest, I went to Brazil now. I had to fly 24 hours. You think I'll hold all my shit in there? No way.
Are these guys taking 1 seat or 2 seats? What's the deal on
well,
flights?
We try to, because it took us, 12 hours to fly? So we try to always 2 seats. So 3 seats, 2 guys.
Okay.
2 big boys. Or one big guy always have 2 economy seats.
You're like 1.5 seats.
Yeah.
And they usually sit together. So it's not like I'm going to show up to the airplane.
No.
And he's in one seat, and he's in the other, and I'm sitting in the middle.
We have us. Oh, you're never going to have that.
Okay.
You're not getting that seat. I'll make sure.
Yeah.
That's one thing I'm very strict about, making sure these guys travel comfortable, because it's, and half of the time they're nervous because they've never been to America. They can't speak the language. Yeah.
Well, I got some listener questions here.
Let's go.
Let's see what we got from the audience. This is from the Vice Instagram account. We've been doing this the last couple episodes, so if you see it on the Vice Instagram account, make sure you put some questions in here. The first one I've got is it true that you are not allowed to drive a car?
Yes. 日本でね、歴史は元気じゃ絶対車を運転してダメだね。Yeah, you're not allowed to drive cars as an active source.
Well, all right. How do you get around?
Well, when you get to the top rank, it's trains, taxi. Once you get to the top rank, you have somebody drive for you.
It's a respect thing, or is it a danger thing, or?
Well, in sumo, what you call sumo world, they don't think you should be putting your life in danger driving the car. So it's about protection. Even when you travel as a foreign country, we just travel in 3 planes, break everybody out, and they used to break all the high rank in different planes.
So I guess it's like the president, like the sumos are respected as much as like top politicians in Japan.
Yeah, because it's more about the culture behind it, because they know exactly what you see in Japan sumo. It's the only thing it's the only place you can find that. You can't find that anywhere else in the world. I'm so happy that it's getting popular. I see a lot of people trying to do it, which is good for the sumo culture itself. But we still have to go out there and really kind of teach them the depth of it. Yeah, I try to understand why sumo is so well respected in the country, in Japan. So just more education on that side.
Here's another one for you. What would I have to do if I wanted to become a sumo wrestler now? Not me necessarily, but the listeners. Where do they start? What does that mean?
I just asked him the question. Well, for sumo, like I said, if you're a foreigner, you're not allowed to join it. You have to find a stable that has a slot. Every stable is 43, 44 now. If there's a stable with an open slot, one slot for a foreigner, then you can join. That's just the beginning. To train to be one, I think, as a foreigner, if you're athletic, is try to put weight on as much as you can, because you're gonna lose it when you're starting your career as a sumo. So when you train, I think that's the best thing. If you're very athletic, it wouldn't be that hard to train itself. Like I said, we don't do any like super calisthenic, something out of this world, but the training itself is just the way we train. If you go to watch a real training session, no one talks. It's all pounded in, clay. Like clay is super hard. You hear nobody talk. All you hear is poundage. People hitting each other, headbutts, slapping. And if I'm there, one of the coaches and the top guy, the owner of the stable, we're the only one you can hear talk at all.
Let's say, all right, here's another one. People are concerned about health. How long do sumo wrestlers live for? Like, what is it like in old age when you've put so much weight on? Like, what is the health impacts overall?
Well, health-wise, a lot of them, when they retire, they all lose weight. People, they don't do this forever now. You got to remember that. I've been retired 28 years, and as you said earlier, also 633 pounds. I never be diabetic. I never be high blood pressure. I don't have a high cholesterol. So you can tell, for me, I had no problem. Majority of the guys comes up with problem later on in their lives, but they do it. A lot of them quit before 30 anyway.
Yeah.
So it's not a problem for us.
There's like this whole thing. We were at the Bone Museum in episode 2 ago, and they told us that the taller you are, the more years off of your life, because it's things, your body has to work so much harder for a tall person. I assume it's probably similar for someone that's so large. There's just so much more to cover.
Well, it goes off for any big person. The thing that I know is a jinx in sumo is when you become a grand champion, a lot of them don't live long, no matter big or small. And I've seen that happen very rare. I see some of these grand champions leave over 65. And I've seen some of my best friends who grand champions pass away and stuff. So the guy that I said the GOAT, he passed away before he was 65. And he was like muscular, like super, he wasn't that big. So people, it catches up with them after their careers. They're so dedicated to sumo that you don't have a life. Mm-hmm. Your life is sumo, period. And I think the stress levels that they go through is like just unbelievable. As a sumo thought, it's easy because I know I got to go out there. I can take out my stress in training and fighting. But once you retire, you're running a school or running what we call a sumo stable. It's stressful because you're trying to train kids to be as good as you, and the pressure for them to be there, and the pressure to make sure their everyday life is safe, healthy, and they don't get in trouble. So like if one of these kids got in trouble, went out and got into a fight or got in an argument, their boss take all the punishment. So like if you was the vice president of the company, take you all the way down to a regular office guy. So it's a lot of pressure. And I notice when they retire, they get sick more. Because guys, especially guys that run stables, I see that in a lot of my good close friends that's after taking over stables. I talked to some of the guys, friggin' just get out, man. Just get out after 160, get out because they do it to 65. Just get out and go enjoy your life, man. Yeah, I don't belong there, so I'm pretty do anything I like, but I can see the stress levels of owning and running a sumo stable, making sure everybody's safe because they're taking responsibility of kids that belong from all over Japan now.
What's the general consensus on foreign sumo wrestlers in tournaments? What do people think in the culture about having foreigners come in?
Well, I guess because over the years, we started with Takamiyama Jesse, then I came in, then Akebono came in, Musashi Maru came in, and where they were in, there's like about 16 of us from Hawaii who were in sumo. A few of them make it to the top and the bottom ranks. So they got used to having foreigners in sumo. And after we left, it was taken by a lot of Mongolians. But that's where people started walking away from the crowds, the fans kind of stepped away from it because now a lot of them the country sent them to school, like junior high school, they go to school in Japan and they learn the language, the culture, and then sumo. And a lot of them become good because they're very athletic. These kids are really speedy, small, tough. They can get big fast. And they just took it over, to a point where like, people was like getting jealous, and I hope that chair doesn't break while we were talking.
Yeah, the way they looked at each other for a second, they both like, uh-oh. You doing all right over there? It's a good time to ask, what's your normal diet like and workout routine? Like how many calories a day? What does it look like from start to finish to work out?
There's another thing that people get surprised. Sumo only have 2 meals a day. You're not allowed to drink or to swallow anything before practice, which is from 5:30 in the morning to like 11:30. You can't eat or drink anything before that. And your first meal is very healthy. I've hosted guys like the Bosworth, if you're too young, Pipper Johnson, Bo Jackson, they came over as
Bo Jackson's my boy.
I love him.
Auburn legend. That's going to school.
I think he's one of the best athletes ever. Both baseball and football at the same time.
You think he could sumo, Bo Jackson?
Oh, fuck yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I tell you, anybody athletic, if you give me the time of just 6 months to train them, because the hardest thing they go through, if you're not flexible, they're going to die because those exercises are the one that kills them, And just balance after balance, it's all about balance.
What if someone that's watching at home, or like maybe they played offensive line in school or defensive, they're flexible, they're athletic, maybe they just didn't quite have the skill to do it in college or NFL, and they wanted to reach out to you, or who would they reach out to say like, how would they impress you?
Just
scouted?
DM me, and then first thing I do, I look at their bodies. Second thing I do, I tell them how much they can get down, squat. Because those exercises were actually, sumo body form is different. That's why from like everything else. It's the closest thing I can say is probably close to sport is powerlifting. And then everything is about within that 5 meters. 5.5 meters, the ring is only 5 points. So it's about quickness, speed, just in within a short distance. So it's about quickness. So if you get in that and teach you how to really sumo, I know a lot of guys can do good in America. It's just as not being popular, it doesn't pay well, so a lot of guys just don't do it,
Well, what would they have to squat to impress you? Like if they hit you at the DM and say, I squat this, here's a video of me doing a split or something, like what really gets you?
It's how flexible they are. I don't care how much you squat. I squatted 606 pounds when I was 17. I was powerlifting in high school. I was dead strong. That my hobby was weightlifting. I bench pressed 515 before I graduated from high school. So it's not about the strength. I went in, the skinniest guys kicked my ass in sumo. So it's about balance. It's body balance, and then flexibility. The more flexible you're, the more you can be leveraged. Your leverage has to always be low. Football is about the rip. Here is about staying down. It's like always being impact, closing, locking the elbows all the time. So.
Well, we got to bring Osaka Joe and Lulu into it with an either-or game here. I know they're... Well, actually, first I have to tell my survey. First, I almost forgot, guys. We asked the listener questions and we asked the survey. Let's see. And the survey said, have you ever been to a sumo wrestling match? 89% said no. So we can hopefully change that in America. If you've never been to a sumo match, this guy can hopefully walk you through one.
Sumo and sushi, to be honest with you, that's the first question I ask. At least 99%. But then I ask, has anybody flew to Japan? Majority of them don't. But at least average of at least 5 to 10 people have been to Japan just to watch, especially people who saw my show, or saw the Sumo and Sushi show. They actually fly to Japan and they actually go watch the major tournament. So I don't know when this is going to fly, but the next major tournament in Tokyo is going to be in May. And I tell everybody, catch that because you can go and catch like cherry blossoms, tour Japan and work your way towards Tokyo. And the tournaments are 15 days now. It's 15 days. I do personal tours. I do just 10 people, VIP. Maybe on my day off, so I just put it up. I've been doing it ever since. So DM me but yeah, sumo, I think it's going to come slowly.
Okay.
I'm working on it. And then I think I just have to make a few clinics around the U.S., some clinics in Europe, some clinics to kind of train them to make sure they're understanding it's not wrestling. Someone's like, and I have to keep the traditions and the rituals within sumo because that's what I think people are attached to. Not too much the hitting. Everybody uses the fighting. Of course, the techniques are going to bring them in, but the rituals before the ceremony part and then when it ends the way they respect each other, I think plays a big part.
The other two I asked was, how large is the largest person in your friend group? I'm trying to see if people are sumo maxing out there. 71% of you said 200, 300 pounds. 18% said 300 to 400. 3% said 400 to 500. And surprisingly, 7% said 500 to 600. Now, these guys, your friends, I think their friend group might have a different, average there than probably are.
だいたい今、相撲の世界で、だいたい平均の体重はどのぐらいと思う
160キロぐらいだと思います。
You say 160 kilos. So that's like almost 400?
Wow. All right, they're in the 3% of our audience, so not many sumos.
You'd be surprised. I think if you really do research about sumo, even guys right now, the top guys, 今上の幕の内だってでっかい人ほとんどいないね。この200キロ以上。なんだっけこの間優勝決定スパイスだ照富士じゃなくて。
熱海富士。
熱海富士, the guy, he's a big boy, but he's like 6'2", 6'3".
Yeah.
He's like 205キロか10キロくらいなんだね。He's over 400. But he can move. He almost won the tournament last tournament. Real cute guy. He's popular because when you talk to him, he just smiles and you kind of see his eyes.
Yeah. And the last one I asked was, how many clones of you would it take to beat a pro sumo? We've got 14% say 2 of them could beat a pro sumo. 23% said 3, 29% said 5, and the majority, 34%, said it would take 10 plus of them being cloned to beat one of your guys. Do you think that's accurate?
Probably 10 people.
What about 3 of me?
You get your ass kicked, Steve.
Yeah. I've heard there's
you gotta go mix it up. You gotta mix up make sure you're cloning the right.
There's a rumor going around that maybe there's a chance that at Sumo and Sushi I might be able to get in the ring.
Well, we'd be lucky. Just make sure you say goodbye to your friends, say bye to your audience. He might be his last year, Jackson. Thank you for being so nice to your fans out in Vice. And I want to apologize before he says goodbye. It's not my fault. I tried to stop him. He signed off. And hopefully, if he has a family, kiss his wife goodbye and call Auburn, his university. Tell him that they taught him well, and he's very happy that he can die happy as an Auburn graduate. And say hi to Bo Jackson.
Yes, thank you. I don't plan on dying, but it sounds like I'm just signing up a death wish
Well,
here.
that's why you sign, because the same thing we sign here, right? Whatever you see on here, you get, right?
Yeah.
So I cannot promise you that you walking off the ring, but I'm really, really looking forward to it because I can watch that happen.
What if I bring
I
got 2 interns here. What if I bring the interns and it's us 3 versus 1 sumo? Do you think we have a chance?
I don't think so.
Still no chance.
One of them would actually. That's the most dangerous way to do it because they're going to actually try to kill the first one first.
Okay.
And they kill the second one and then
they're
play
still-
with the third one.
So we're still gonna die. Like there's no
Still
like.
gonna die.
Okay. I was hoping to avoid death, maybe just like being maimed, but okay.
No.
I feel like for my pride, I still got to do it though, right?
I think you should do it to represent your Auburn University, and don't shame my friend or my best athlete, Bo Jackson.
What if I bring Charles Barkley with me?
Oh, even better. Barkley is tall, so even easier. He probably don't have balance right now. He's the same age as me because I actually hosted Jordan.
Yeah.
And I played basketball with Michael Jordan and Charles and all those guys. He came to watch
You met
Sumo
them
one
before.
time.
Okay.
I met all these guys, and that's a great thing about my career that I kind of humbled by it because I was the only foreigner that could speak English. So whoever came into town, they actually look for me. And I don't go out and I'm not a PR person, but they get to me. The NBA gets to me, the NFL gets to me, and I get to fortunately host these guys, which is a great thing. And when you bring them to Sumo, all these young boys, whoa, that's Stephen Curry. Oh, that's Holloway, which is a good thing to kind of motivate them. When you get to a certain part of your career, this is what happens.
I've seen pictures of you with Mike Tyson, Michael Jackson,
Yeah,
Michael
yeah.
Jordan.
Yeah,
It sounds like
yeah.
you met Charles Barkley, Seth Curry. Is there
Yeah.
anybody that like really like stuck out as like that was the coolest?
I think Michael Jackson was one of my person I met that it was really cool. Spent a lot of time in the hotel because a few times I met him and stuff. And Lady Diana.
Oh wow.
I hosted her too when she was married, when they came on their honeymoon to Japan. I hosted them. They came to the matches and stuff. So
That's incredible. Like some of the biggest celebrities of all time.
yeah, and I actually catch. Another thing I'm proud of is here in New York. I was on Kathy and Regis when it was original, and I was on
R.I.P.,
Jay Leno.
man.
I was on Jay Leno. I was actually rapping. I don't know if you can find it, but my first album was a rapper in 2000. So I came to New York to promote my album and stuff.
I mean,
After my career.
Sumo's taking you places, huh?
Sumo has opened up the doors, but I come from a little damn town in, gotta say, Nanakuli. Hawks, baby. If you're watching that, you know what that means. The high school I went to is just, we had the beaches and the best ocean. We had water, we had waves, and we had the mountains. We used to go up in the valley when it rains. We jump in those natural ponds, and that's where I come from, And yeah, it's for a boy from the countryside. It's
pretty good.
I'm very, I look at the mirror every day and I'm just amazed and humbled by it,
Yeah.
Not everybody get the opportunity.
Well, let's play some games here with your guys here. They look restless. We'll have one game and then we'll be done. So let's try it. You might have to translate a bit for them here,
じゃあ
maybe.
今度ゲームやるんだよ。どっちで選ぶみたいな感じで。
All right. So if they had to change sports from sumo, would they rather do football or rugby?
相撲からやめたら、今やめて、どっちのスポーツ選ぶか、ラグビーか、フットボールか。
ラグビー。
ジョーは
フットボール。
All right. We got a split here. Okay. For the winner of that one, then we got rugby and football, would they rather do that sport or UFC?
その今選んだラグビーとフットボール、そのラグビーとフットボールより UFC やりたいかって。これやめて。
UFC ナンバーワン。
Yeah, he would.
フットボール。
Football. All right. Are you scared to fight the UFC guys?
He's a natural sumo. I think Joe is more, he can train to be a UFC.
You think you got a chance?
Yeah.
All right. I want to see it. 400 pounds in the UFC match. You think?
Well, he's going to cut down. Some of the best MMA fighters now are actually ex-sumo guys right now. And they used to be 400 pounds. They're down to like 160, 150. Tight. I can show you pictures of two twin brothers that used to be sumo.
That'd be cool. Ask him who he wants to fight if he's got to fight.
その UFC だったら自分の夢の当たりたい相手誰ですか今までとこれから先でも UFC で有名な人誰が
堀口教授。日本人です。
One guy named Horiguchi, he just was the last one, the Japanese guy.
All right. Make it happen.
Because he's the big time. He's the only guy really lasted so far. And he's a real good fighter. In fact, he won this past one too.
What's harder for them to get into? Like, what's the harder fit? Plane or cars?
どっちが一番難しいか、こう、トランスポーテーションね、動くために。飛行機が大変か、車が大変、どっちですか？
車。
Car.
車。
It's cars.
Yeah. Well, planes, all right. That's interesting. That cars are harder.
Yeah, because we have to get in and get out. We all traveling. You know that we came in a Toyota, I think, a car. What was it? Anyway, we came in a car with 6 of us, all in one car.
Wow. That's like, oh boy. Must be way down on the suspension.
Yeah. Well, whoever's renting us that car, they have to go change the shock after we leave New York.
All right. How about harder to fit in? Regular bathrooms or clothes?
一番難しいなんだけど、洋服か自分の体に合わすのは洋服かトイレかどっちか。大変じゃない。洋服探すのが大変か、どっか行ってトイレ入るのがもう大変かどっちか選ぶなら。難しいねこれね。
飛行機とかやったらそっちトイレですもんね。
うん。でも今現在どこ行っても全体的に。
トイレで僕は。
He would have hard time with bathroom.
洋服。
Clothes.
I like that we're getting diverse
Well,
answers here.
Yesterday is the first time he bought clothes. He's walking around with slippers and t-shirt when the freaking weather is minus here in New York.
Wow. He finally got some to take home with him. Let's see.
I would actually choose toilet too because we're big. We always prepare mentally. Yeah. Wherever we go, I try to think, especially when I take the boys out, I understand it because my whole life I was big, 600 pounds. I made sure when we ever go to the bathroom before we leave. Always is one thing to bid it. If I have like 3-4 hours, I can go out without going to the bathroom. But if you have to go more than that, I always make sure to check for handicapped bathrooms.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So bathroom is something that you have to deal with. Yeah.
Yeah. Here's the one. Do they get more attention in Japan or America? When people are walking down the street. Yeah.
どっちが自分がちょっと見られてるの？アメリカの街歩くか、日本歩く街どっちがこう見られてる？なんか
見られるんですか？
そうそう、なんか見えてこう歴史いいなという感じで。
日本じゃないですかね。
どっち？
Japanese.
日本。
Japan.
Japan.
You have a lot of fat guys here walking around. It's nothing new. You got big guys all over the place.
All right.
But if they put them in their dress code, everybody would look. You know, traditionally, because when we came to New York, wherever we went, people was following us. That's 1985, but
you saying that
went to the White House too after that.
America's full of potential sumo wrestlers, or everybody's just fat here?
Well, if you're an athlete, then I think your possibility to be a good one.
All right, here's
a lot of big people on the street. So sometimes we're so afraid because when we go to sumo sushi, some other guys that come and put their register to be sumo are freaking huge. We even went against the Seattle Seahawks one right? 1 year, their starting tight end came to sumo and sushi, and he had to wrestle all of this. These retired guys though. Yeah. He got 6'7" now, and like, oh shit.
All right, last one. Is it harder to win a fight in sumo or get a girlfriend?
彼女を作るか、相撲に勝つことがどっちが難しい？
彼女を作ることです。
嘘つけ。はい。
女大好きです。
彼女作ることです。
Hey, winning is getting a girlfriend is hard.
Okay, I thought
but
so.
He lies. He get girlfriend, these guys.
Here we go, ladies here. Right, Lulu? Can we get a...
Like I said, for all the audience watching Vice today, I always tell my crowd this: if you want a career, you have a great career, and don't want to be a stay-home wife, marry them. They can do the cooking, they can clean, they're real good at it, and actually they can be your bodyguards. If you want to get carried to bed, you can be carried to bed all the time. You want to get washed down, they wash you down because that's part of what their jobs are when they become a servant to a sumo wrestler or. Yeah, so they're very good at those things.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's your dating tips, guys. If you're in the mood for a sumo, you know, reach out. He can connect you to several sumos that might be.
Yeah, we have a lot. You know, and a lot of them are like wanting to move out of Japan and experience an American life and stuff. You know.
All right. They fit around here a little better. They fit. Yeah.
Yeah. And the good thing about it, they're very humble and they're very quiet. You can yell at them. They probably just don't look at you and probably say, Okay, what's next?
All right, well, thanks for coming, guys. That was Vice Culture Club. It was really cool to have these sumo guys on, especially such a legendary one here. Check out Sumo and Sushi if you get a chance and see this stuff live. Hopefully we'll be there. Hopefully me and the interns will be fighting. We'll see if the legal department allows it. Hopefully this isn't the last episode, but we'll see. According, over here, I'm donezo. So
I think they probably okay it. They'll let you go.
they'll let me go.
That's an easy way to fire you, right?
Yeah, you don't have to pay me anymore.
I'm just joking.
All right, thanks for watching, guys.
Thank you, guys.
All right, we're at Sumo and Sushi. Konishiki told me I won't make it out alive if I wrestle, but I'm not going to let that stop me. We're here a little early. We're going to do some behind-the-scenes stuff. We're going to get some tips to see how I can do in the ring, get stretched out, We're going to see how it goes, all right? Okay, great.
So at the very end of the show, we'll call your name up.
Ooh.
So there will be like 7 names that we call. So you're the 7th
Okay.
name. You'll come up, you'll sign a waiver.
Very unexpected. If I really go at them and I pick them up, they'll never see that coming. That no one has tried to pick them up before. I don't know if I have the strength to do it, but this is the moment to figure it out, Nervous. I'm afraid I'm getting my ass beat. I need some tips from some of these sumo guys. What are the tips you got for me? You got any tips? No tips? How can I survive?
watch the shows, you get tips. That's what the show's all about.
Oh, okay. So I gotta sit there to watch. You take notes.
Hope you take notes.
Okay.
Because you know what we haven't seen just yet tonight? We haven't seen what it looks like when a normal-sized human takes on a sumo-sized human. You know what I'm saying? We've seen a lot of sumos. All of you guys that I'm about to call, bring your ID because you have to sign your entire life away. All right, I'm going to call the one and only Jackson Garrett up here. Jackson, make your way up to the stage, please. Let's see how this goes. Jackson versus Osaka Joe and Ruru.
Bye to your friends. Bye to your audience. He might be his last year, Jackson. Thank you for being so nice to your fans out in Vice. And I want to apologize before he says goodbye. It's not my fault. I tried to stop him. He signed off. And hopefully, if he has a family, kiss his wife goodbye and call Auburn his university. Tell him that they taught him well, and he's very happy that he can die happy as an Auburn graduate. And say hi to Bo Jackson.
Jackson said he can kick Ruru's ass, so Ruru said, well, come down to the ring.
Here we go, Jackson's got 2-on-1. He's going for Ruru.
Come on, Jackson!
Document we put up the word, so give it up one more time for the greatest move and a great one, I'm telling you, I'm champion.
was Tajimi, and I got a 1-star tattoo. And when I was done getting that 1-star tattoo, I decided to wash it down with some thick water. Oh God.
That's not the slogan. That's not the slogan. That's not the slogan.
I can't do it.
Once you go thick, you'll never go thin again.
It's way too thick.
If you know me like you say you do, you'd be coming along. You'd be singing.